teams in the past, and he's also had his moments in time. Again, the experience and the potential talent factor could really see anyone surge up. Keoz is the most likely guy overall, but I also look towards the G2 side, knowing that as a team they've probably got a few more elements that they can try and abuse in that sort of sense. So for me, I do feel like this series could go down to the 2-0 in spite of the successes that we've seen down from the GamerLegion side. For me, I just don't see G2 conceding this one.
I'm going to give him a map. I'm going to give GamerLegion a map. I want to give him a little bit of faith that they can keep this series tight and competitive. It's going to be a tough affair, but it's G2 all the way.
Oh, you did give one win a map, and we saw how that played out. So let's see whether GamerLegion can do anything here on the CT side of Vertigo. Again, map pick by G2. Get to the pistols for the T side line. In towards mid control becomes the main focal point.
Keoz just trying to see if he can spot for information. Look at the stack-heavy play, though, out towards the A side. So it'll be Isaac and Keoz to get the information, but it looks to be a retake.
Smokes out CT, flashes in towards elevator. JKS gets Isaac, and that might force rotation. They didn't charge so far forward. Nice bunny hops in from the T side line. 2-for-2 trades in a 3-on-3 situation, but Nico steps up with the P250. Keoz is down, Shui's forced to back off himself. Nico has his eyes set towards CT as his opponents start rotating back in from that A site. Meanwhile, B has been taken by the G2 side. The bomb is down, the P250 sits around with the secondary pick back, can't quite get the third, but it's IEM to clutch.
And try and see if the Romanian can get in for the 1v2. Got a kit on his back and a flash to work with. The bomb's been taken for quite a while, and G2 are holding this patiently.
USP leans in, tries to hunt out past the back lines, the quad, the white box. The flashbangs will come forward towards the main entrance. Port pushing out the utility, and the USP can't get drawn in time. IEM down to JKS as a pistol gain for G2.
And you've got to imagine, for someone like JKS, he'd love to get back to the major. 7 on record, all attended with Vox Eminor, Renegades, and 100 Thieves. Did not attend a major under complexity, and now moving over here to G2, another European squad, just to make that jump forward and to put that to the track record.
It's a good start for G2. Way into this matchup, way up to the T side, GamerLegion. Harsh Eco to follow it up, and we'll try the mid stack quite fast forward in from the stairs angles as well. Hunter might get caught off guard. This is just against 2 third player. Now has been heard. Doesn't quite get the kill for regardless. $1,200 again in the bank accounts, and Madison look to clean up the rest.
You'd imagine so. Shui's just going to try and see if we can get some more damage done with that Mach 10, not to be. And if we're going to be brute and honest, and I say we, I probably mean me, out of all of the most random teams that qualified to the RMR, I'd probably put Fantasy up in there, one of the mixers that came through, and GamerLegion, because we didn't know what to expect going into the first open qualifier. They had 2 players on their roster. It was Keoz and Keoz standing in. Actually got signed to the team, so knowing that we actually haven't even seen a single event, there isn't much that you can pull from with this lineup.
Again, it's unpredictable. It's unpredictable nature here for this team. That's the main concern, I think, for GamerLegion. They could come out swinging and do some decent damage here in the RMR and beat out G2, which would be an absolute shock. But obviously a lot of work to get there. It could still be a plausibility given what we have seen from GamerLegion thus far. So hold on to your hats, folks. First kill has been found against the GamerLegion side. G2 up in the gun rounds, up at the advantage.
And knowing that Keoz dropped so early, that gives a lot more emphasis to a gamble stack and a more heavy info play towards the B stairs. Isaac has got a lot of T-side players around the corner to deal with.
M4 watching alongside Shui. Swing sees Hunter. HooXi gets caught. That's at least a couple of trades back and forth to a 3-on-3. So G2 hold their nerve. That's a 2-for-1 one way and a 2-for-1 the other way.
JKS can now start taking some space, a walk out towards this mid control. You've got some presence towards the bottom of ramp from Nico. Monacy still outside of the B side. And Keoz timing onto JKS could be everything.
Really goes down out towards mid control, up towards the ramp take here for Nico. Bomb still slowly rotating out towards this A side. So Nico's just making noise here, trying to bait a core forward and almost gets the taps onto him. Not quite landed the heads overall. Does get IEM eventually in the back line. So 2-on-2 situation. 20 seconds and Keoz now wrapped out towards the back of the alley position. Teammate of Shui on the back lines will try hold against the bomb carrier. Nico indeed does drop, but Monacy has the bomb here. Needs to get that plant down. Heard the reload of Keoz. Knows that he's around that corner. Doesn't know where to plant safe because there really is no position. He's out in the open, forcing the fight on one. But Keoz wins it for the double for the first round for GamerLegion.
Now, we saw Acor putting on some stunning performances when we look at the FaZe Best one and even the Spirit one. Now, over the course of the RMR, 3 maps, nearly 130 rounds, positive 30 KD difference and a 1.29 rating. No one else on his team has had a positive KD. It has been Acor all the way in the majority of Best of Ones.
I think I had to stop. I thought we had a stop call there for a second. I heard the ticks in my head. I saw m0NESY jumping around, but looks like G2 are happy to play out the rest of this one. Forced invest. Seeing a Tech-9 in for Hunter, so not ideal for the G2 side.
You've got to think here, just a brute force attempt. Try and get a boost up towards that banger angle. Isaac has not been able to spot it. Might spot the boost on the right, though.
Ready for JKS. Spray is extremely awkward. Hunter can punish that, and JKS can follow suit. Keoz down, 5 on 3. This has to be a save call for GamerLegion, I think.
Yeah, you're probably right about that one. Even Acor is just taking some further damage and more responsive, going down towards that CT spawn angle. But hang on a sec, the IGL of HooXi has actually made this winnable.
3-on-3 situation. This is plausible now. Before the bomb went down and everything, HooXi now making his way up. Flashbang caught on a course. Still JKS forced to trade with a double, not quite the triple. IEM now to deal with the backstabbing player of Nico, who's in at SCAF with the headshot. Gained an all. 3 to the board of G2 as they clap back against GamerLegion.
Now, that's a very good round just with pace coming through from G2. And I think what JKS tried to do there on the boost was show his head for a moment and then duck down. Make it super awkward for Isaac on that banger angle to find anything. And HooXi does his best to find a couple of picks, but in the end, it's Nico on that wrap play to end off the round from the mid-split. And GamerLegion being reset once again, just when it looked like they had a bit of breathing room after their first round victory.
Wicking again from G2 to the defaults. Hunter caught off by Keoz, so a bit of aggression unaccounted for there by the T side. A little something gained, but I think it was an SMG loss, so nothing major that G2 will be worried about here. Meanwhile, the stack comes in towards the A side with the utility thrown and nothing seen towards mid or B, so this could be the trap sprung by GamerLegion.
Got to imagine so. Nico getting aggressive up. Mass players over here on A. Mass line up for a moment, and it deals with all 3. Makes it look easy.
Because it was easy. Pistols without a lot of Kevlar, without much resistance. For a player like Nico has a formality kill. At least Keoz comes back with one of his own. HooXi drops. Nico and m0NESY also tagged up. Nico especially down to less than 20 HP. Diego and Keoz could still get some exit frag, especially if they're going towards this corner, which might be what he's hunting for here. Nico, head has been seen. That's one pick back. Sees m0NESY as well. Looking for the head at the right angle. Takes that shot thrown off by aim punch. Now the flank is in from JKS. That should close it. And indeed, still 3 casualties here for G2.
And we saw that for GamerLegion, they played Vertigo against Saw in the 4th Open Qualifier quarterfinal game. And managed 5 rounds on their CT side and only 4 on the T side. Ended up going down to the 5th to 6th place decider against Doja's team of Forward Gaming, coming away with a successful result in the 2-1 to get their spot here in the RMR.
Three that are good right now for the G2 side. GamerLegion up to the gun by. Focusing against likes of HooXi, who is the first man forward in towards the ramp control. Does not see anyone from the T side line. HooXi. Actually, Nico that spots out likes of HooXi and detects where IEM is. Trying to transfer the spray back. Doesn't quite connect it of any sort of damage or kills though. Acor meanwhile, warp out in the open, extending to catch Nico. Bring it back to a 4-on-4.
And that was a risk that was worth taking, and it feels as if the CTs might want to get aggressive again. You've got Acor up onto the angle, HooXi with the lurk smoke. They don't have to commit top ramp here.
Rotate back, Hunter to walk in with the bomb on his back. m0NESY right behind him, as will JKS and HooXi. A little bit of a laggard and coming towards the mid flank. Set up the split towards the B site. There's 2 players to find.
And all about the time now, getting closer to 50 seconds on the clock. And 2 on B with the jiggle pigs. Isaac hasn't seen anything.
Now he has. JKS dead. Keoz also extends out ahead of banger. m0NESY can't get the headshot back to get the kill to return. Still a 2v3. G2 now need HooXi to come in with that mid flank and find some sort of return. That bomb's got to commit towards the B site, and as m0NESY starts rotating now. HooXi turned away from IEM at the wrong moment. The timing was awful. And now m0NESY's got to fight the clutch.
m0NESY up against the first before he could even get that bomb down. Up to the site directly. Isaac's keeping his head down. Jumped up for a moment, and the kill does get presented.
Bit of an awkward spray, giving up a lot of damage to Isaac as well. A-Core AWP detected. m0NESY ducked out of the way. The AWP now spotted and eventually gets him in the open. And m0NESY was forced to fight and didn't have much breathing room to do so. So GamerLegion with their second G2. Struggling on occasion here and now. With that last round, it's actually reset the economy state. So we should be seeing the force-up double eco status for Drake, guys like JKS and Nico here. So, again, it's not been the most confident stuff here from G2.
And it's about A-Core using some of his experience as well. Nearly 200 maps on LAN on record. 2 RMRs played, 1 major, all with Mouse, and then played IEM Katowice with Mad Lions, IEM Cologne, IEM Winter with Mouse too. So, there has been quite a few big name events that he's been a part of, and when you're working with what is a majoritively tier 2 squad, there isn't a massive amount of LAN players here for GamerLegion, don't have that experience to soak up. So to know how impactful he can be with the AWP in a best of 3 series against G2, I am looking for A-Core.
So far, so good for him individually, backed up by the IGL at 6 kills for each of them. And G2 with the force invest might allow GamerLegion a way back into the CT side. The AWP in for a core, the M4s on 2, the AK, the SMG, the Deagle of Nico will take first face against IM. Dish out some damage. IM returns a lot more. And now G2 forced to rotate away back into the B site again.
Isaac's just got to try and see if he can stall for time out towards his B anchor. You can see the way that G2 are putting a lot of emphasis forward around the B stairs consistently in this first half. You've got Keoz that's got an incendiary, so anti-rush nades if required for the XE.
Incendiaries and smokes pass back and forth. Isaac trying to find his position here with the SMG. Well, HooXi will be the boost mantle for Hunter to try to get up towards position. m0NESY up, spray through, damage done to Isaac, but he's alive at 34. Now he's back up for the rest of the CTs and more because G2 are applying their pressure. Perfect flashing, he's out in the open and now dead to right to the hands of m0NESY. They forced out the B site with a single frag, and HooXi's the only man here to respond to position. The bomb's going down, the retake is on.
I don't know about that, if I'm going to be honest. This does not presenting much at all for GamerLegion. Unless they get a pick in quickly, they're better off just saving.
They have been in safe positions before, and they've gone force forward with some early kills. Not quite early kills this time around, though. Lilin, there's HooXi down. Hunter engages with m0NESY's support. That's a second kill for m0NESY. Hunter with a kill of his own. Wraps him over. Now he calls AWP will be able to get the trade onto the man. Such low HP for G2, but same story for GamerLegion. Down by a man, they've got to rotate away, and there'll be a 5th for the G2 side.
And this is the unfortunate nature of being a brand new team. It means that your map pool is going to be quite low, and I think we're starting to notice some maybe not nervous moments, but some uncomfortable moments. I look there at Isaac over towards the B site. I mean, they've only played Vertigo once on HLTV, and there's a big gap in the smoke for the cross towards the top of the stairs. He gets caught with util out in the open, and it just shows that GamerLegion don't have that time behind them to be able to push all of these maps into the pool. So G2 coming through with Vertigo for the first in the series could have been a very good map pick for him.
GamerLegion down to pistols outside of those 2 set of rifles, which they are going to try and apply to aggressive positions. A-Core in particular out on ramp. Nico sending utility down. Slight gap in that smoke to work with for the man, but just can't quite seem to catch a shot or a kill or even a tag of information. So they'll fall back again, G2 playing the initial contact towards ramp and back in from mid to go for the B split. HooXi has evaded the 1-man below scaff. They've all gone right past Isaac, but just the USP. Not enough firepower to hold on to a kill. Same thing for Keoz, same thing for Shuri.
IEM and A-Core just trying to make sure that they keep the weapons in place, because the last thing you want is to lose even more out of this one. And now a 2v3, you start wondering, do we go for this?
They might well just do so. 3v2 situation. Smoke down initially, Molotov's on towards the bomb itself. No second smoke, no kit. IEM still seeks out the kill and destroys HooXi for it. 2-on-2 situation. They've got to get that AWP on the bomb right now. IEM still fighting, and now he's a dead man. Tap that bomb, nade up towards the A-core, forced to escape. No time left. Another round for G2 here. Four rounds up for their T-side line, G2. Nice leg shot only gain. Another very fast play in from mid. This time, GamerLegion are the ones to come out on top. JKS down, bomb dropped and all. 4-on-3 situation. G2 walk their way up into that mid control with Hunter leading the charge into potentially what could be another B play. They've made it work so far, but this time being down by a man, no split involved. Keoz back with A-Core's AWP. Leaning in ahead of the sandbags. Keoz caught off guard with utility in hand. Hunter walks up for the double, and just like that, it's turned around, but the bomb dropped by A-Core back in mid. Smokes down against the incendiary, and Hunter feeds himself to the big green gun. Now Nico alone to clutch it, will grab that bomb. He had some criticisms to his individual performance over the course of the RMR. He'll get it planted down for default and wait for the CTs to come in for the retake here. I set backed out towards the stairs position. Expecting there to be a boost or potentially some sort of CT play in incendiaries onto the back line. Nico is just going to wait for the lineup, for the headshot. Hearing footsteps, and IEM gets the kill instead. For the third round, the defuse in for GamerLegion. Good efforts there from the last remaining players, the scramblers from the G2 side, but it was all on that AWP of a core. Bringing in the shots back. And that whole round up. It's 3 to the good GamerLegion. Forced against the tactical timeout here for the G2 side. Their second one used. Moments respite to discuss things because it's not like it's the ideal position for the G2 side. Money is a little bit lackluster here.
You got to think to yourself how to respond, just knowing with that money situation like you mentioned. And for G2, just keeping that pressure on, trying to see if they can get under the skin there of GamerLegion. And 3 rounds to the difference. You'd have to imagine here for GL, this could be a good chance to start minimalizing the scoreline.
I've brought back one more to add to their tally, so it's entirely plausible.
This is the swing round, though, isn't it? Like, if you're going to do it, if you're going to start putting on the thread to make this a competitive first half, this is the perfect round to do it.
A harsh invest, AKs, 2 Galils, Tech-9 and a Deagle in for G2. Harsh reset involved for round 11 if GamerLegion can get it. That would at least reduce the gap to a single round here. First contact has been established on the initial defaults. No damage was done. Nico's going to wait with the Deagle standing by. There are knives pulled out. Okay, there was a stop call involved there for the GamerLegion side.
All right.
So not live, but not like it matters. Moment's respite, a moment to resolve whatever issue that is. We'll get some updates as and when we know what it is. So, yeah, 3 rounds to the good still for G2.
Yes, an RGL from the perspective of the GamerLegion side of to actually have an RMR debut. I mean, one of the things you got to consider is the fact that when he was playing with Mal's NXT, you're playing in an academy league, so you don't get as many of those top opportunities. So since moving away and going over towards GamerLegion, he's going to be making his RMR debut. Got less than 30 maps on LAN. I mean, one of those was back on a Zarko Boars in a local Polish LAN, and then, of course, a couple of the seasons for the LAN finals when we played the Academy League.
All sorts of talents coming up in the RMRs.
Who do you reckon is one of the biggest teams? Either teams or players. Is there anyone that's like caught your eye here at the RMR?
What, like out of everyone or just out of the up-and-comers?
Not just everyone. I would say more so the up-and-comers. If we wanted to look at team, I mean, B8 as an example, they've been quite impressive this RMR.
Yeah, I would say so too. I mean, they're the one team that I sort of look at and say they had the least likely chance of ever making it to an RMR. Maybe you could throw GamerLegion into that sort of like a standing as well, but B8, like, at least GamerLegion have a basis to work from. At least they have spots in, you know, ECL or other tournaments of that sort of nature. And right now, B8 fighting for a chance to make it into the major itself at this moment in time. It would be very unreal indeed.
Considering even
at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, who are they playing then?
It's playing Sprout.
Right, because that's in map 3.
I believe it's map 2. No, it is map 3.
Okay.
Excuse me. You're
It
right.
is
Yeah,
map
9-6 at the turn of the half for Sprout's favor. So
Ooh,
for
okay.
BA, like the fact that they made it to map 3 in a major qualifying game, that's
true.
It's a very one-win sort of position to hold at, and I think honestly,
Yeah.
Sprout are a beatable side. So you might be seeing BA at the major for me.
We'll have to keep an eye to that, see what's going on. As we're going on here on the B stream, 6-3, we're back into things. G2 bringing quite a bit of pace towards the early ramp control.
Nico straight up, much faster this time, trying to look in against the sandbags. Nade sent. Nico tagged up a little bit. Incendiary thrown down. And the AWP of a core trying to lean in against Nico's position. Smokes back against the tops. We'll try block them away from that entry point. G2 will fall back again. It's been a pretty standard default. Just make some noise out towards ramp and play from a different angle entirely.
They've actually changed the weapons over. Now Nico's just going to be on a dig rather than that AK, so being passed over to Hunter after taking some opening damage. And what looks to be a quick B split in toes.
Incendiary on ahead of the smoke. Nico caught. Hunter forced to back up. May walk right into the crossfire. Second man's out there. Indeed, Isaac will get that kill. Shui backed up towards CT spawn. The teams are creeping around where Keoz is. HooXi tried to find a backstab, and indeed the Tech 9 does come together. Manasi crosses successfully. The bomb will also make its way towards the plant position. Down at default, perhaps. Isaac looking for a player. HooXi catches him with the Tech 9 and gets it to a 3-on-3.
And this is starting to get out of hand, and even Modessy's in a super aggressive position. That incendiary down towards default's going to force out JKS.
Oh, bust through the dink, down 5 HP. HooXi gets IM. Shui's already dead. And a core on the backstab. No chance. 1-on-3. Got to hold on to the AWP.
And imagine being Keoz and Isaac in that position. You've literally stopped the split, and it ends up just being a mid-play, because the two individuals that were down there at the B stairs got dealt with. That was a 5-on-3 advantage. They did a great start of slowing that round down. They just don't get the support from the rotating individuals, and once those mid-players come into the action, HooXi ends up with a triple. Modesty and JKS play off one another. And for GamerLegion, that was the one. That was the one that they really needed to get started here on that CT side, to start putting some rounds up, to minimize the gap of rounds there are. And instead, you've got an AWP for A-Core and not much else.
That swing opportunity for GamerLegion has been lost at this stage.
You want another thing about opportunity, Jay?
Go on.
GamerLegion had 6 match points against FaZe in the opening best of 1. In regulation, in overtime, and they could not get it done. They couldn't close it in the opening best of 1.
Well, so that's about closing at this stage, more about opening.
Bit of a difference.
Early doors, and GamerLegion are struggling in that sort of sense, so G2. Molotov sent up. Shui with the P250 on the other side of the site. Of course, that phase matchup is what put GamerLegion on the map here for this whole RMR, this whole tournament. Here was the opportunity to believe that maybe they might even take a map. At least for you, you thought it might be a chance for them to take a map. I'm a bit more skeptical in that sort of sense, but right now, G2 are dominating their own pick, as you would expect. Plant will go down. A core will get forced over the Mac 10. Only rifle left in play around the harsh eco of the GamerLegion side, so G2 should have their 8th round.
We've only seen Vertigo played 4 times since JKS and HooXi have joined up on the team here for G2. So not a map that's had a crazy amount of match experience and map time to get into the fold, but right now it's looking pretty keen. 8-3, haven't been challenged all that often. GamerLegion will have that AWP to work with come the next round. But for G2, they're eyeing up the prize of double digits in the first half.
Mac 10's in to get the money together. Oh, nice shot from HooXi.
Decent.
Very nicely done. Not as much money maybe as would have liked to have, but either way, it's Mac 10 kills and a sacrificial weapon that gets a 3K in the end, so G2 can bolster the money state, not like it needed that much bolstering to begin with. And the first tactical gets called in by GamerLegion because they have lost the half and they need to do a lot more from here to be able to pull things back. Kind of wondering how much of this matchup is going to be on the CT side for them.
You start looking at some of your OG players, someone like IEM and Isaac that have been here right from the beginning of 2021, so coming up to about 1.5 years now. We know that IEM has one of those Romanian players that was playing on Nexus, one of the few that actually left the Romanian scene to see what other opportunities there is. Lornix is another one that was out there on Sprout. Regali moving over to Copenhagen Flames. So there's an odd bunch of the Romanian players that have decided to see what international opportunities are made of.
No opportunities for GamerLegion at the moment. 5 rounds down, G2 on a tear. m0NESY looking to try and tear straight through the B defensive. Isaac does hold the line for now. HooXi there with a trade, tries to double up, but bops that bomb ahead of the sandbag. So Keoz holds a pretty crucial point of the map for them. Backstab's getting a bit overzealous for G2, for GamerLegion rather, I should say. Nico for G2 gets IEM to return to a 3-on-3.
Oh, just the patience there. Not committing to the B-side HooXi, but just over-rotating CTs. Keoz now forced out in the open. And while everything looks so good, the fact that Keoz gets the opener, Isaac forms it into a 4v3. You think to yourself, everything. Is it the advantage now for GamerLegion? There's a minute 10 on the clock, and G2 are walking into an A site with only HooXi to defend.
Yeah, AWP posted back towards the B site, so that's the best thing they can do here. Very passive stuff from HooXi as well, behind the orange boost. Looking back in against Nico, and Nico just gets that headshot, as you would expect, the slow walk in. And the bomb plant secured, 1-on-3 for Acor. And this AWP, I mean, it's just best to save, isn't it?
You got to imagine so. GamerLegion won't be too happy about that one, because again, they had decent advantages to work with, but over-peaking and over-rotating cost them big time. You saw as soon as IEM drops, that was it. That was the key to the entire round, and even Hunter's in a position where he might be able to drop the big green. The barrel's been seen. Acor's a goner. Oh, just kill him, yes. Yeah, don't worry about the knife, mate. You're up 9-3.
Should have gone for it, though.
No, of course you'd say that. Just wants it, just wants it.
I mean, look, if you squint your eyes, they have not a lot of money on G2, so, you know.
The job's done. He's dropped the AWP. That's what matters.
Yeah, and he's got it for free as well to pass off to the G2 side. So in terms of economical bonus, that is a slight one to add to the G2 side. m0NESY, of course, taking that AWP, as you would expect from him. Not seen much AWPing action as of right now. Admittedly, it has mostly been because G2 has just not really given much breathing room for GamerLegion on those first contacts, the AK especially. Ready to receive the CT side, and they swing together to catch Hunter. That's one AK back in the hands of the CTs, but nothing to defend the A site.
I'd like to see a bit of emphasis for GamerLegion on for a retake in this sort of starts. You've got players moving over to A quickly. You've got a rifle to work with. You might as well see what's made of this round.
Molotov's up, flashes in. 2 players to make their move forward to the T side. Keoz's Deagle catches Nico. m0NESY's forced away from ramp. HooXi now inbound. Trying to lean in from that ramp entrance as IEM will finally drop. HooXi moving forward close. They're trying to find the angles to work with. The kills being found. Keoz and a core though. Trade back. 2v1 now for m0NESY. Alone for the G2 side, connects on Acor though. Now Keoz alone, 2K to his name, jumping around the corner. The Julies are pulled out for m0NESY, who baits him closer. Keoz will get the kill, but there is no kit, so there will be no time for this. He might not even save the AK here. Try and grab that AWP if possible. I think he'll just get away from the bomb blast in time. It will be another round for G2 though, yeah.
You consider the idea of what they had. I mean, they had a couple of upgraded pistols. You've picked up an AK. It's not a round victory, but it's keeping pressure on. You save a big green, you can pass that over to Acor. GamerLegion will be very happy with what they've achieved there.
Upgrading the automatic for the sniper rifle. Now going into the true buy with it. M4s on 4. Lacking in the utility department on 1 individual and 4 kits in play, so it's a pretty defined buy thanks to that AWP being saved. Acor still got 4 grand on him all. Quick swing from IEM. He's getting this opening kill indeed. He lands on Nico ahead of the smoke. Shui's going to flank against HooXi now. He walks forward ahead of Sandbag. Spray is extremely awkward, but it does come together for the kill in the end. Hunter caught off guard. JKS fast to respond.
Just when it looked like there were going to be further opportunities for GamerLegion to get the man up, it ends up being back to evens. While a lot of damage has been done onto HooXi, it's whether that could be transferred into a kill. You've got a hard rotate over towards A because Isaac's coming through from the backstab. Good info.
Honestly, watching it though. Kill miss, but JKS bails him out. 2 kills to his name. Now they make their way up towards that B site. Acorn knows what's going on. He's out towards the mid position himself in incendiary to block them away from the main entrance. Meanwhile, HooXi walks outside alley. Keoz is dead, and Acorn doesn't know where to go from here.
Yeah, just getting baited. Is it over towards A? Is it over to B? You can see m0NESY walking while he took that shot. JKS was so close on the timing and repositioning that that kill just comes through very easily onto Isaac. And GamerLegion, how many times have we seen over-rotates in the lower portion of the map just get cut?
One too many times for me. Acorn's going to still try his hand at this. At least in some sort of capacity. He's making noise. Trying his best not to, if possible. Trying to get out of the way because he hasn't seen anything from G2. They haven't taken open angles. It's closed off behind hard cover. He escaped towards the B site with his AWPs. G2 take 11 on the T side. This has gone about as well as you would expect a Tier 1 versus Tier 2 team match should go on the Tier 1 team's map pick. So, bit standards for GamerLegion. It would be quite a deflating result thus far.
Again, I gave them the premise of Mirage. That was their chance. I wasn't expecting a crazy amount here on Vertigo. Would have been nicer to see a little bit more of a battle. It has been very much a rollover here from G2. And I think for GamerLegion, just getting to the RMR again is going to be such a learning experience because last time they were here, they went down 0-3, didn't even take a map in the best of 3 against Dig in that losing game that got them out. So brand new lineup, get here again, use that experience and just try and put a few results up onto the board, which they've done already in the best of 1s.
Still 2 losses, but those 2 losses have at least been kept close. Nico, nothing close about that engagement against Shui from a long-range distance, gets the headshot, takes no damage. Similar for Hunter out towards the B stairs. Keoz falling to his cousin. North of A-Core hoping for a trade back towards mid, but just caught off. Leg shot connected on HooXi. JKS getting another kill on towards the man. That's IEM just alone in the 1-on-5. It's dismantling for G2 to close the half.
What a half this has been from G2. Just dominant, consistent on the T side. Nico's been finding a lot of form. Kill distribution is an absolute beauty. And GamerLegion have not had many chances, not many opportunities to strike at all. JKS going to deal with the last player. 12-3. That is a result and a half to come through from the international squad.
Well, it is expected, considering they are the veterans and the favourites in this context. Their map pick has gone swimmingly thus far for GamerLegion. They might already be checked out and looking towards Mirage. Their own map pick will not be coming up just yet, but after the break, it is their second half.
auf meiner Fensterbank, die Nacht zieht vorbei. Ich blicke über den Tellerrand, trinke Sekt auf Eis. Ein Teufel und ein Engel tanzen auf dem Parkett. Vielleicht sind wir unsterblich, müssen nie wieder weg. Ich sitz auf meiner Fensterbank, die Nacht zieht vorbei. Ich blicke über den Tellerrand, trinke Sekt auf Eis. Ein Teufel und ein Engel tanzen auf dem Parkett. Vielleicht sind wir unsterblich, müssen nie wieder weg. Backpack, Kippen und Drinks gegen Tristesse. Großstadtbild, komm mir nicht weg. Kopf fragt, mach kein Pisstest, nein. Ich will nicht auf deine Party gehen, nein. Engel und Teufel tanzen Schwansee. Von deinen Lippen tropft der Chardonnay. Ich küss ihn weg, bevor du schlafen gehst. Sitz auf meiner Fensterbank, die Nacht zieht vorbei. Ich blicke über den Tellerrand, trinke Sekt auf Eis. Ein Teufel und ein Engel tanzen auf dem Parkett. Vielleicht sind wir unsterblich, müssen nie wieder weg. Ich sitz auf meiner Fensterbank, die Nacht zieht vorbei. Ich blicke über den Tellerrand, trinke Sekt auf Eis. Ein Teufel und ein Engel tanzen auf dem Parkett. Vielleicht sind wir unsterblich, müssen nie wieder weg. Faded auf den Wohnzimmerdielen. Baby, sag, wieso sind wir hier?
In the last few days, GamerLegion have taken 2 key losses in their RMR so far. A 25-28 against FaZe and a 20-22 against Spirit. They have kept them close, even in losing scorelines the way. But this might be the most one-sided deficit we've seen against GamerLegion so far.
And just hearing you recount some of those numbers, you'd almost expect this first half to be competitive. The idea that a lot of their best of ones, the one against Aurora that came out successfully, and against Tier 1 competition close, but it could just be the difference in Veto in a best of 3 context. G2 out of the gate, spotting for information, and already seeing the rush come up ramp.
On their CT side with only 4 rounds to get this map under wraps, and Notables the pick of GamerLegion. Already killed for m0NESY and Nico. Fast rush out for Isaac, does get a couple back. m0NESY holds his line, and Hunter holds his nerve for the kill against IEM. That's a very quick pistol for G2 to start things off on the right foot.
And after that was quite panicky coming through from what G2 found themselves in. You had m0NESY quite aggressive towards ramp, siphoned between 2 angles. That yellow alley split and the top of the ramp, they kept their composure. Really nice in that crossfire. And again, to touch fusion, you've got your highest fragger of m0NESY up at 16, your lowest one down at 12 of HooXi and Hunter. That is showing an overall strong team cohesion here for G2. Everyone pulling their weight in an important series.
And a start found as well in the second half. Like I said at the turn of the half before we head into the break, GamerLegion might already have their mind set on Mirage. Because this situation has been pretty dire from the word go. The first man down. Of course, Glock's pulled out for this eco. They want to get towards those rifles very early. See whether they can make some sort of comeback happen.
You just got to imagine here for GamerLegion, it's that full focus on the rifle to give some level of positivity, to try and put rounds up. And while we've seen some good comebacks in the second halves over the last couple of days, we're looking at a very different detail this time around. Only 1 player losing on the anti-eco round, just that FAMAS to drop a Jackass. 2 more to go for G2. And what a statement this is for GamerLegion of a wake-up call. Whether it's your map pick or not, just to think that you've come into a best of 3 and all of those best of 1s where we've been judging the track record, I don't even think we can judge off anymore.
As we always say, the best of 1s and best of 3s are 2 very different beasts. Certainly we're showing the beasts of G2, 14-3. 2 more rounds to get this one on the wraps, and again, just to close out GamerLegion, look towards their map pick. And if they can't bring an A game for that map, then I can see my 2-0 prediction coming right here. A lot of work to be done. In this case, it's passive work for default.
And this is exactly what you're expecting to see out of G2 in a 1-2 game. To be in an uncomfortable position and come out of the gates and look positive. Just to develop how strong you can be on the server and not give chances, not give opportunities away to your opposition at GamerLegion. And JKS aggressive with this MP9 up on the bonus round, keeping the economy in the bank, and even IEM's just been spammed through a smoke.
That's unfortunate. So this from JKS. Does get traded back by Keoz at the very least, but Hunter immediately in against Isaac. Keoz can get the trade back through the wall bang. It's double for him. But now they have the info on both individuals, and HooXi closes in the backstab.
He's in a position where he could even watch the wrap if they start moving back over to A, but he could be caught on a timing as they're going to evade him completely. Now, this still works out okay if HooXi goes out towards the B stairs, because he's still going to read that there's nothing here, that it has to be a rotation to A.
Yeah, seeing nothing, checking sight, knowing that, of course, Nico's back passive, so as soon as he sees there's no presence at all, they will back up m0NESY and try get him bolstered for the defensive. Only 15 seconds for GamerLegion to make the move. The backstab will continue from HooXi. 10 seconds, smoke's flashing in, turned away from, taking too long, burst up, m0NESY gets that kill. Tap on the bomb for Keoz to try force out the frags, and all we have to do is stay alive. Hunt him down after time as well, that will cripple the economy state of the T side. 15-3, map points for G2.
And that's the worst case situation coming through from GamerLegion in that sort of round, is losing a player after time. And 12 rounds the difference, one more to go. G2 with an absolute sitter to get themselves 1-0 up in the series. And GamerLegion, you wonder what the mental reset is going to be like going into their map pick and Mirage. Going into the next, where at least they've had a lot of game time. Because what we have seen on Vertigo has not shown us at all. The G2 full round, and it's probably going to be this one to close it.
More than likely, given the state of the buy, the firepower they have in Tech 9s, and already the nades down on Keoz in the core. M4 for Hunter. Waiting for them to make their move in towards me, which they've already established. The smokes to confirm it. Wait for the crossfire.
Even Hunter playing this quite passively. Nico can start swinging on the contact, spam through the smoke when contact gets landed from Hunter. A lot of utility, and GamerLegion finally starting to go.
Keoz has been seen. Dead to the hands of Nico. HooXi lines up one of his own. There is a trade back from IEM. Deagle up close against m0NESY. Catches that M4, but the line M4 of the T side now falls. It's a 1-on-3 for Acor. Dealt with by Hunter. The taps to the triple, a 16-3. Decimation to start this series from our favorites.
That's got to be one of the most one-sided scorelines you're going to see all day here at the RMR. Not even close, not even a battle, and G2 make it look very breezy in the opening map of the series.
Indeed, their own map pick going swimmingly for them. Not even a task. GamerLegion going to have to get out of that headspace that they found themselves in. You can see them dejected on that camera, and you can just tell that they are not happy with how that one went down, at least.